Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest MMO of our time is coming to the Web3 space. Yes, I'm talking about Archeworld, the sponsor of this video, but not just the sponsor of this video, the sponsor of someone that played ArcheAge extensively over the length of his teenage years. I played a ridiculous amount of ArcheAge. So we're going to be getting into this game because I am more than ecstatic for the release of Archeworld coming into 2023. In fact, it's not even just coming into 2023. It's coming into this month. It's launching this month on the North American and South American servers. So we're going to be going over a lot more than this. But if you enjoy the content here, as always, like and subscribe, check out Archeworld, and let's get into it. Now, let's talk about ArcheAge for a little bit because I presume most of you haven't played ArcheAge yet. ArcheAge is an MMORPG. It isn't top-down. It's pretty normal in terms of the feel. Big thing here is ArcheAge was always seen and idolized as a guild game. People did pack runs with their guilds. People did raid battles with their guilds. People did all kinds of really cool stuff with their guilds. And this couldn't be more important in Archeworld because the resources that you earn in the game can be exchanged between players. But here's the big kicker, because there is a difference between ArcheAge and Archeworld here. They are different companies here. This is the same IP. Archeworld allows players to exchange items, and Archeum / Blue Salt is essentially the currency for the game. Archeum, I remember a long time ago when I played ArcheAge, was a massive issue. But a big way of the Blue Salt gentlemen actually solving this is through a reserve fund that they're keeping through all of these transactions to actually balance the in-game economy. By the way, the Asian servers launched already. Those are successful. Those have essentially sold out in terms of land plots. We can see that this model works. Play and own works. It's not play and earn, it's play and own. I think it's pretty interesting, but let's go a little bit deeper into this. Now, remember that the goods traded at the exchange, they just take up all kinds of things. You can buy pretty much anything, but here's the kicker. There is an exchange rate fee of 10% on their token called Blue Salt. So that 10% gets taken to that reserve fund, which helps balance the in-game economy. We've seen so many people enter the Asian servers. I expect something pretty similar to happen. A bunch of people are going to be playing on the brand new Archeworld. In fact, their ethos of the balance of this economy is just saying, hey, if there's a surplus of Archeum, we're gonna make sure that we balance that out so that there's not too much hype and it's not underhyped. There's that sweet equilibrium that you never get on an MMO. It's usually hyperinflation. But they've managed to keep Blue Salt relatively stable this entire time. Now, they did say that during the launch of the game, Archeum trades can take place without the appearance of a Blue Salt merchant. So that is still a possibility that can happen. And it also gives, early birds, people that get into these games on launch day, the opportunity to get into these games really quick and have a huge kickstart. I mean, these guys on the front page are offering people to pre-register to claim 1,000 Archeum. I mean, you get a bunch of free stuff. You go ahead and give people a friend code, which, by the way, we're gonna slap the friend code here, everywhere. Just slap it everywhere. I want to see this friend code everywhere so people can see it. Because if you invite people to this game, you get free land plots, and these land plots are going crazy right now. Now that we've talked about the land plots, now that we've talked about how cool Archeworld is, let's talk a little bit about the open plains PvP that these gentlemen have done. Because they've done the PvP part. They've done the part with the raid bosses that you get this awesome loot that you can sell for real stuff. But they've also not forgotten the fact that if you add too much of the actual Archeworld content, the game gets pretty unbalanced quickly. So instead, they've decided to kind of step back and only release a portion of the content that they know for a fact is the best content. It's kind of like when you go to World of Warcraft and you play classic WoW instead of the new WoW that has all these different things that don't work. That's exactly what you're getting here with Archeworld. You're getting all of the parts that people genuinely enjoyed about ArcheAge. You slap Web3 components into them, and that's what you're essentially getting with Archeworld. But not only that, let's take a step back, because they've added these new things, which are something I've never seen before, which are Fandom card NFTs. And so Fandom card holders are pretty much the VIPs of the Archeworld. They're the people that get to have the most benefits from the success of the IP. They're the people that get to just get the fruits of the labor for things that launch on Archeworld. And I think it's such an interesting concept that you could actually, instead of just being a user that loves playing and whales out and supports the game, you could actually take a piece of the game. And not only are they trying to do that, on the roadmap, they want governance. In fact, Archeworld has a vision where they're aiming to create a DAO for the community. In fact, together with the community, an establishment of the DAO would be the pinnacle of the direction of their project. They want the people to be able to be the ones that influence the project. It's kind of like when RuneScape went to Classic as well. You're hearing this, a lot of Classics going out here because Classic works. People like the simplicity of these games. They like the best parts of the game. They like the simplicity. They like the nostalgia. And that is why IPs like Archeworld/ArcheAge are going to succeed long-term. It's because people enjoy this kind of stuff. And it's not just people, it's all kinds of people from all walks of life. In fact, at this point, Blue Salt is in such a prime position that these land NFTs are going insane right now. And I expect as the hundreds of classes on ArcheAge begin to develop and people begin to kind of just figure out what the meta is on Archeworld, because remember, it's going to be a bit of a different experience from native ArcheAge. People are also going to kind of get the idea that Web3 gaming economies that aren't just play and earn and do delve more into play and own can actually work if they have a highly centralized person that is helping moderate the in-game economy. And that's exactly what these guys at Archeworld are doing. And I'm really looking forward to playing this game when it gets to its full release. I mean, if you look at some of the gameplay here, you can see a bunch of people just hamming at it, chaos on all sides, on all frontiers, trying to get loot, because loot is worth money. All right, it's as simple as that. It's worth money. There's higher stakes. It's more exhilarating. It makes every little experience that much more exciting. And that's the really cool thing about all this stuff. In fact, they've talked about ways to decrease the amount of blue salt in circulation, which is their major currency. And they've gone ahead and talked about it. I mean, 50% of fees on various transactions are to be moved to the treasury and uncirculated and burned when necessary. They've got staking, which you can go ahead and get into, which has pretty good rates. You've got those coupons for all these different gacha runs that you can spin things to get different pieces of rewards, and all the blue salt that's held by the team. A bunch of different ways to be able to monetize the game for long term that I feel like some of these other titles are kind of sleeping on, to be honest. They've got their allocations, which a lot of them is going to the right places. And overall, I like the spin where it's like all races that have gone through the era of Great Migration will be friendly to one another. Instead of being like, okay, no, users hate each other, they want to kill each other, and it is what it is. It's mayhem. Who knows how many people are going to play this game? It's going to be like, okay, we're friendly to each other until we meet each other in the battlefield. At that point, good luck, have fun, right? It's not the same thing. It's guild versus guild. You're going to see a ton of raiding battles. You're going to see a ton of people fighting for these crazy NFT drops or these exchange drops that they can sell for real money. And that's what it should be. That's the vision of Archeworld. And I think that MMORPGs have a massive problem. I remember back when I played ArcheAge for the first time, and I was trying to get land that tons of people use bots. And these bots honestly took up a huge amount of space, and they really provided nothing for the average player. In here, it's like, okay, we have the hyper try-hard, and we also have the hyper loyal people, the people that are hardcore, that want to get into these ecosystems, and they're like, okay, I'm going to get into this ecosystem, I'm going to contribute, and I'm going to go ahead and purchase these NFTs, etc., etc. You get this huge fan base of people that are constantly circulating in, and that, I feel, it doesn't need to be the most people, but it needs to be the people that care the most to keep these in-game economies running. And that's why I'm really excited to see how the Archeworld launch come April 20th comes for North America and South America. And with all this being said, you all know I do reside in one of the following continents I will absolutely be playing. And if you want to check it out, feel free to go ahead and check out the link in the description and the pinned comment below. Thank you, Archeworld, for sponsoring this video, and it's absolutely ludicrous to have the opportunity to be sponsored by Archeworld in 2023. It's just I'm ever so grateful to have the opportunity to once again be able to play one of the games that I enjoyed playing the most back in the day. So with this being said, check out the friend code, check out the game, stay classy, and that's all.